Andrea,
Yes.
how is it now about the pandemic of COVID-19? COVID-19?
Yeah,
Going better? Going better?
I think everybody's getting used to our new life is really what it is. You know, the numbers go up, the numbers go down, but we've all sort of adapted, and you know, I think I'm okay. We're okay.
You still wear mask? You still wear mask?
Oh yeah.
Same as in Indonesia.
Sorry, but we're starting.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Ad America TV. Hi, I'm Maya Trainer. I'm one of the e-guides here at Ad America, and we welcome our audience joining us online. We truly hope that you are doing well and staying safe amidst this outbreak. Well, anyway, for those of you who are first-timers here, hi, welcome to Ad America TV for the first time. Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center. Our mission is to provide a space for young generations of Indonesia to learn more about the United States. We have temporarily moved to a solely digital platform so you can enjoy our program from the comfort of your own home and help flatten the curve of COVID-19. Don't forget to leave your questions in the comment box below, and our panelists will answer them later in the seminar. Now, today we will be having a session titled Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Care and Cure. Now, as per usual, before we begin, we are going to have a social media quiz. Are you guys ready? Okay, here we go. The question is it true or false that 30% of all breast cancer cases develop in men? I will repeat the question one more time. Listen carefully. Is it true or false that 30% of all breast cancer cases develop in men? You can participate in this quiz through our social media comment section, and stay tuned till the end of this program to find out if you got the answers right. Now, one more thing before we begin, Please don't hesitate to take a selfie, capture this moment, and share through your social media and let everyone know that you are having a great time with Ad America. And now, without further ado, please welcome our moderator for tonight, Prisma Kinanti.
Thank you so much, Maya. Good evening to you all who are watching from everywhere in Jakarta, maybe all across Indonesia, and maybe good evening or maybe good afternoon to everyone else who are watching from the other parts of the world. I want to give a special shout out to those who are watching from the States. Hello and welcome to our discussion tonight, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Care and Cure. Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Prisma Kinanti, or you can just call me Auntie, and I'll be your moderator for the next 1.5 hours. And I promise you that tonight's discussion will be very much insightful and also exciting. Now, as you might all see before or notice before, that our e-posters for tonight's event, and I'm wearing a top that is also pink. Why is it like that? Because this is Pink October. We're celebrating the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that is the reason why we are here. And tonight we are going to discuss a lot of topics regarding breast cancer. And if you have any questions regarding that, as we might all know that breast cancer is one of the most popular cancer in the world. And if detected early, surprisingly, the chance of survival is very high. It is 95%. And I think each and every one of us, especially we as a women, we have to know a lot of information regarding this and its prevention. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome our speakers who are joining our discussion tonight. We have 4 speakers, the more the merrier. I would like to welcome, first of all, our first speaker, Andrea Wolfe, the CEO of BREM Foundation. Hi, Andrea. Joining us.
Hi, pleasure to be with you. Hi. Good evening. It's nice to be with you.
Nice to have you here again. Andrea, can you tell us a little bit about BREM Foundation before we begin?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. I'm Andrea Wolfe. I'm the CEO of the BREM Foundation, and I'm thrilled to be here with At America tonight. The BREM Foundation is a breast cancer nonprofit based in Washington, D.C., and we focus entirely on early detection. We maximize every woman's chances of finding early curable breast cancer through education, access, and physician training. Now, you might be thinking, why is this important? So I'll tell you. Breast cancer is a really well-marketed disease, right? We see the pink ribbon, we see it on the sides of buses, it's really everywhere. And yet, with all that marketing, very few women, young and older, have a good sense of what their risk factors are and what their screening options are. Everybody thinks, oh, mammogram, one and done. Well, it's not so. So the BREM Foundation teaches women about their actual risk factors, screening options, and how to maximize each person's chances of finding an early curable breast cancer. But we also realize that this education, which is, really only able to be gotten through us, is only as good as the tests that a woman can access. And we know that there's a whole population of women who can't afford diagnostic tests for breast cancer. Why is this important? This is important because screening tests tell a woman whether she has an abnormality, but not whether she has breast cancer. After a screening test, which is almost always free in the United States, a woman needs a diagnostic test to know whether her abnormality is breast cancer or not. Well, these tests aren't free. So there's a whole cohort of women that get stuck between their free screening and their not free diagnostic tests. So the BREM Foundation pays for lower income women's diagnostic tests when they can't afford them. But we also realize that the test itself is not the only barrier to care. There are other barriers to care like childcare, time off of work, transportation. So we teamed up with Lyft, the ride-sharing company, to start the country's first and only cost-free ride-sharing program that's dedicated exclusively to breast care. And so this program has taken off here in the United States. It primarily serves immigrants who have trouble with language barriers, who have trouble with oftentimes affording transportation. And that's been a real door opener for people to get the breast care that they deserve. Finally, we do physician training through a breast fellowship. We help support the country's only breast fellowship that, in addition to medical training, includes public health and outreach, because we feel that once a patient's already in the doctor's office, half the battle has been won. So we teach doctors how to go out into communities, how to talk about early detection, and those are our 3 core pillars. I do want to mention one other initiative. It's called Rebra. We collect bras that women don't want anymore. We dry clean them, and then we donate them to women who can't afford bras. We clip each bra with breast health information in English and in Spanish, along with resources about where women can go to get their breast care. So in a nutshell, that's us and what we do.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for the brief introduction. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of facts, and I have a lot of questions, already, but we're going to discuss it later on during the discussion. And I would like to welcome another speaker here back in Jakarta. There is one speaker. Second one is Ibu Linda Agung Gumelar from Yayasan Kanker Payudara Indonesia, or known as YKPI. Hi, selamat malam, Ibu Linda. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good evening, Auntie.
Good evening, Ibu.
Fine, thank you. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, good afternoon and evening.
Hi, Carmen and Pravita.
Thank you so much, Ibu Linda, for joining us. Ibu, can you tell us, a little bit about yourself and YKPI?
Okay, thank you. It is my pleasure. First of all, thank you for Ad America to inviting Indonesian Breast Cancer Foundation to this program, talk show Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Care and Cure. And I'm very happy because I can meet Andrea, also Carmen. Thank you very much for this. A brief about our Indonesian Breast Cancer Foundation, or we call it Yayasan Kanker Payudara Indonesia, YKPI, which myself and a couple of friends survivor of breast cancer founded. Then a doctor, oncology surgeon, and another friend who has empathy for humanitarian affairs joined. In the year 2003, we founded this foundation, which is later officially named Indonesia Breast Cancer Foundation, or in Bahasa Indonesia, we call it Yayasan Kanker Payudara Indonesia, YKPI. Our vision and mission is to realizing Indonesia that it's free of advanced breast cancer by 2030. And since 2014, we are the member of Risk to Recovery International. And on 2016, we are a member of Union of International Cancer Control. Dear friends, data from Global Can 2018, if I can show you, it's looked that breast cancer is the highest ranking cancer, followed by lung cancer in Indonesia, while deaths from breast cancer rank second after lung cancer. According to Global Can 2018 also, for women in Indonesia, our females, new cases of breast cancer is 30.9%. Out of 188,231 new breast cancer cases. Calculating mathematically, in 1 year of 365 days, it is indicated one new breast cancer case in 9 minutes, which means 6 new cases in 1 hour. So if we now talk about 1.5 hours, maybe around 9% was indicated female with the new cases of breast cancer. And around 70% of it are in advanced stage. We tried very hard to reduce the number of new breast cancer cases, socializing and campaigning the importance of early stage warning of breast cancer and its medical treatment. Now I can introduce the following, our MARC program, which is illustrated briefly. We have a program first, raising awareness on early breast cancer detection. Cooperating with women organizations, local health agencies and sub-agencies, universities, high school, private sector, print and electronic media outlets. Also, our goals is how to creating a healthy lifestyle and increasing knowledge on the importance of breast self-exam and clinical breast exam. Also, we want to encouraging people to see a doctor upon lump discovery. As you know that Indonesia, we are a big country, same as the United States, and is an archipelago consisting of 16,000 islands with five main islands. The big island, there are 5 big islands and a population of around 268 million people. This is unique geographical condition means we need to work hard to achieve our goals and our mission. Thankfully, with the advancement of technology, with networks already made available in almost all regions in Indonesia, we are now able to further accelerate our efforts. The other program is we have a mobile mammography unit, the date that we are partnering with the National Cancer Referral Center Darmais Cancer Hospital and the local community health centers. And for the data, maybe you can see the data from 2015 to June 2020. We already do around 14,635 participants, probably benign 2,241, and highly suggestive of malignancy 248, around 1.7%. And the other program, we also have the training of trainer of breast cancer self-exam, because this is very important as we are many islands. So we do the breast self-exam training of trainer. And we already have 510 trainers, and they go everywhere to give information about the breast self-exam, or we call it Sadari. As of June 2020, we have 510 people have participated in the training of trainer. The other program also, we have breast cancer caregiver training that have a certificate from TÜV Rheinland, and it started in 2015. Then we have around 302 participants from all of the country. They come and they have a training for 3 days. The other program is also we have a shelter home. This is very important for us because many patients who come to Jakarta from the other city or area, they don't have place to stay because they might have radiation or maybe chemotherapy. So we have one shelter home that aiding and ensuring accommodation for breast cancer outpatient who are undergoing treatment under the government health insurance third-class service scheme, something like that we do for our shelter home. And another thing that this October, we call it, I just said Alhamdulillah in Indonesia, we can give one chemotherapy and systemic therapy unit to the Darmais Cancer Hospital. On the February, the International Cancer Day, we give that mobile to Darmais as a grant. And we also, to optimize our organization, we have 3 pillars like this: YKPI or IBCF. We have P-tapping survivors and warriors pillar. And then we have a support pillar, and the other one is breast cancer patient caregiver at the Darmais Cancer Hospital pillar. During the COVID pandemic 19, we have modified our program by virtually, and from June to October 2020, we have already 10 webinar series, 5 early breast cancer detection campaign activities in Eastern Indonesia, Central Indonesia, Central Java, and Yogyakarta. And we also have 1 early breast cancer detection campaign activity for university and high school students. And tomorrow, we have the 4th annual virtual meetup of breast cancer survivor in Indonesia that will be held on tomorrow morning in Jakarta time. And there we participate more than 500 survivors nationwide will participate in this meetup. It's something all that I can share with you for tonight, and then this is something that we do the what to say, the webinar. Yeah? And with all of this webinar, we can reach more than 12,000 people from July to October. Then we will be doing on November, December, and after maybe next year, like this. Okay, this is what I can see for now. And for Andrea and Carmen, sorry, because after this, maybe I will continue in Bahasa Indonesia. And I'm inviting my colleagues, fellow breast cancer survivor from our community, Pravita, to join me for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibu Linda, for the introduction. We're gonna get back to you later on in the discussion, Ibu Linda. As Ibu Linda has mentioned earlier, we've got two more speakers for tonight. They are breast cancer survivor. The first one is Carmen Marshall. Hi, Carmen. She's
Hello.
a breast cancer survivor. How are you?
I am honored, and it is excellent to be with you. I am here in the United States, just outside of Washington, D.C., and I'm so grateful to the Brim Foundation. I'm equally grateful to the YKPI. And if nothing else, if people hear nothing else, it's important to know that early detection saves lives. Early detection saves lives. And I heard from Ibolinda something called Sattery. Because of Sattery and self-exams,
Yes.
I'm here today, 16 years later. I am a 16-year survivor.
Wow.
And because of the Brim Foundation that's getting the message out, more African American women are surviving breast cancer. Do you know that here in the United States, we are diagnosed almost equally the same as Caucasian women, yet more African American women die? So when I met Dr. Rachel Brem, who is a vice chair, who is the director of a breast center, who is a radiologist, when I met her and heard about the Brem Foundation, I thought, yes, I have to be a part of this because this is an organization that is saving lives. This is an organization that is training physicians and talking to the community about the importance of breast cancer surviving. And the only way to survive is to find that cancer if it's there and find it early. So that's my introductory remark. I can tell my story. Let me know when you want me to tell my story, but thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. For sure, we are going to, get back to you very soon. I'm so excited, and I'm pretty sure all of our audience tonight are very curious to hearing your stories, Carmen. I'll get back to you very soon. Now, I would like to introduce our last speaker and also another breast cancer survivor from here in Jakarta. Ada Mbak Pravita. Hi, Mbak Pravita. How are you? Mbak Pravita, selamat malam. Apa kabar? Terima kasih ya Mbak atas waktunya. Nanti kita semoga diskusi ini dalam 1,5 jam ke depan kurang lebih Mbak Vita bisa share pengalamannya menjadi seorang breast cancer survivor ataupun penyintas kanker payudara begitu ya Mbak. Aku yakin banget nanti dalam diskusi nanti dan dalam cerita Mbak Pravita ini bisa menginspirasi dan juga memberikan informasi yang sangat amat beneficial buat teman-teman yang sedang nonton Live at America pada malam hari ini. Terima kasih Mbak Pravita. Alright, now to begin with, I have this question and I'm pretty sure everyone out there has the same question as me. When we're talking about cancer, especially breast cancer for women, how scary it is. I think I would want to pose this question to Andrea first. Andrea, the term breast cancer, how scary is it?
Well, really, it's a great question. It shouldn't be as scary as it feels right now, and here's why. Because breast cancer is over 95% curable when it's caught in its earliest stages. And some people even say it's 98 or 99% curable. So these rates are similar to the common cold in terms of, outcomes. And yet, as everybody sadly knows, many people still do suffer and unfortunately pass away from breast cancer. But the Brem Foundation's mission is really to get us to a point where we live in a world where far fewer women die from breast cancer. Unlike some other diseases like pancreatic cancer and more serious diseases even beyond cancer, breast cancer could really be a curable disease if women get properly screened based on their risk factors and screening options that are beyond a mammogram. We have great technology, and it really starts with the individual. It starts with people who are motivated to learn, what are my risk factors, right? Because mine might not be the same as yours. They're probably not. And so you might need just a mammogram starting at age 40, but my risk factors might say, okay, you need a mammogram and an ultrasound, or you need an MRI, or you need something else. And it's really important for us as empowered women in 2020 to take control and say, okay, I have to learn, what are my risk factors? I'm going to ask people in my family, what's my family history? And then I'm going to learn also, what are my screening options? What does that mean for what I have to do? And for people who aren't yet at the age where they need to be screened, it is really critical that they understand two things. One is that they are a really powerful voice for their mothers, grandmothers, aunts, friends, people who might otherwise not make this a priority. And if they hear from their daughters, their nieces, their friends who are younger, and they say, they realize how important it is from a younger voice, it often changes their behavior. The second thing about making sure that younger people understand their risk factors and screening options is that they can know as soon as they're eligible for screening what to do. They don't need to waste any time figuring it out, trying to learn it when they're in their 40s. They come prepared and armed. And that is what we do. We teach about risk factors and screening options. So, for example, what might you think is the top number one risk factor for breast cancer?
I don't have any answer to that, to be honest. But I mean, there's a lot of misinformation surrounding us, and I think like people, yeah, and I think like people, this is a good time where people can find the true information regarding this, right?
That's exactly right. So the Brem Foundation will teach you that the number one risk factor for breast cancer is being a woman, actually, right? And that over 75% of people who get breast cancer don't have any family history. People think, oh, if I have no family history, I'm okay. Over 2/3 of people who get it have no family history, at least none that they're aware of. And so people need to understand, that that's just a basic bar. And then you need to know about something called breast density. Breast density is the ratio of connective tissue to fatty tissue in the breast. Now, breast density affects 40%, a little more than 40% of women in the United States, which is a lot. However, in Asia, breast density is much, much, much higher. Breast density makes it 4 to 6 times more likely that a woman's going to get breast cancer. Now, you say, well, what's the problem with? Okay, so we know that that's a high risk thing. So what now? Well, the other piece of it that's really important with breast density is that on a mammogram, dense tissue looks white and cancer looks white. So there's not enough contrast between the healthy tissue and the cancer to see the cancer oftentimes. So over 50% of women probably in Asia need more than a mammogram if they have dense tissue. It's these types of tidbits that a lot of people aren't getting, and that are so critical as we, understand how to maximize our chances and not be scared of breast cancer.
Okay. So that's interesting facts you mentioned earlier, Andrea, knowing that we as a women, that's like the number one risk factors. And secondly, not only being a woman, but all what we know is that sometimes cancer is genetics, but in fact, it's not always genetics, right? I mean, like if you don't have history in your family, doesn't mean you're not at risk at getting breast cancer or any other type of cancer. We're going to get back to you later on regarding this issue and the other speakers, but I would like to pose another question to Bu Linda here in Jakarta. Ibu Linda, kalau tadi Andrea sudah jelaskan gitu ya Bu, menjadi wanita itu sebetulnya juga sudah menjadi satu membuka resiko untuk mendapatkan atau terkena breast cancer gitu. Kalau dari Ibu Linda sendiri sebetulnya di Indonesia ini situasinya seperti apa sih Bu? Bagaimana perkembangannya kalau misalnya bisa dilihat dari penyintas breast cancer selama 5 tahun terakhir?
Ya, jadi terima kasih Mbak. Maaf saya berbahasa Indonesia. Jadi memang di Indonesia ya sama seperti disampaikan oleh Andrea ya. Tadi saya bilang dalam setiap berdasarkan data global kan tadi tiap 9 menit satu terkena kasus baru.
Ya, betul.
Payudara. Jadi kalau kita 1 jam ada 6 orang yang terkena kasus payudara perempuan. Walaupun kanker payudara juga bisa terjadi pada laki-laki. Dan saya sepakat juga dengan Andrea yang mengatakan bahwa faktor genetik itu dulu kita taunya faktor genetik saja ya. Sebetulnya waktu itu sekitar menurut para dokter itu sekitar 10-20% ya, dari para yang terdiagnosa kanker payudara. Maksimal tuh 15% begitu antara itu. Tapi memang ini adalah sesuatu yang mesti diwaspadai oleh semua orang. Artinya semua perempuan. Makanya early detection ini sangat penting pada semua anak-anak. Masalahnya di sekolah kita belum diberikan pelajaran kesehatan reproduksi khusus untuk masalah sadari dan sebagainya.
Ya.
Kesulitannya. Dan memang breast cancer juga bisa terjadi pada laki-laki ya, walaupun jumlahnya kecil. Tadi juga disampaikan sebelumnya di awal oleh Andrea, yaitu mungkin sekitar 1%, tapi biasanya lebih ganas. Artinya memang perempuan ada sesuatu yang mesti dia lebih hati-hati untuk dari awal dia melakukan sadari self exam itu, periksa payudara sendiri, dan tugas kita semualah untuk mengkampanyekan hal ini. Saya sendiri juga beruntung Pak, 16 tahun yang lalu saya terdiagnosa kanker payudara dan tidak ada keluarga saya yang punya cerita itu. Seperti Andrea bilang tadi, belum tentu ya keluarga. Jadi saya kiri kanan lagi. Hanya karena memang didiagnosanya cepat, ketahuannya cepat, tertolong 16 tahun yang lalu sehingga ya bisa harapan hidupnya menjadi lebih panjang dan kualitas hidupnya menjadi lebih baik ya.
Ya.
Kira-kira kayak gitu.
Ibu Linda, tadi kalau saya sempat lihat di slide gitu ya Bu Linda, itu di sana disebutkan 30,9% dari data di tahun 2018 itu dari survei yang sudah dijalankan wanita Indonesia terkena kanker payudara. Jadi kalau dibandingkan dengan kanker-kanker yang lain, kanker payudara ini posisinya paling tinggi.
Iya.
Itu kalau misalnya dilihat dari situasi di Indonesia, apakah seperti yang tadi Ibu Linda sebutkan, edukasi tentang kanker payudara ini memang masih kurang dibandingkan edukasi tentang kanker lainnya gitu? Ya.
Jadi memang itu tadi yang 30% dari kasus baru ya, 188.000 kasus, itu ada 30%, sekitar 58.000 itu adalah kanker payudara dan pada umumnya itu udah kepada ganas.
Ya.
Artinya udah dalam stadium lanjut. Artinya ini kan ada sesuatu. Biasanya kalau dalam 30% tapi stadium awal insya Allah kan bisa sehat. Makanya kampanye ini penting sekali untuk dilakukan oleh semua pihak ya, apakah itu pemerintah, masyarakat, swasta ikut memborong. Karena seorang ibu itu kan dia atau seorang perempuan bukan untuk dirinya sendiri, dia punya keluarga, dia punya aktivitas ya. Jadi dia mungkin juga profesi sendiri. Jadi ini sangat penting untuk kita kampanyekan karena terlalu mahal Mbak, biayanya mahal, psikologinya juga sangat tinggi ya, stresnya, dan satu keluarga hancur semua kalau ada seorang ibu atau seorang perempuan di rumahnya terdiagnosa kanker payudara. Dan sakitnya luar biasa juga kan ya. Jadi itu penting banget. Padahal kanker payudara dalam stadium awal itu tidak ada apa-apa, biasa-biasa aja. Jadi tanpa sadari atau dengan pemeriksaan screening, kita nggak tahu kita punya kanker payudara. Itu susahnya, yang udah hancur-hancur, yang bau dan segala itu udah stadium lanjut. Nggak ada gambarnya stadium awal itu. Nggak bisa secara kelihatan gitu, nggak bisa ya, secara fisik.
Dan kebanyakan yang tadi Bu Linda sebutkan gitu ya, kebanyakan yang sudah terdeteksi terkena kanker payudara di Indonesia itu kebanyakan sudah dalam stadium lanjut gitu ya Bu.
70%, lebih kurang 70%.
Lebih kurang 70%. Oke. Saya mau ke Mbak Pravita sekarang. Mbak Vita, waktu Mbak Vita didiagnosa kanker payudara pada awalnya gitu ya. Dalam kondisinya seperti apa? Apakah memang masih di stadium awal atau sudah di tahap lanjutan?
Nggak kurangnya bisa diulangi lagi, Kak?
Boleh Mbak Vita. Mbak Vita tadi kalau Ibu Linda sebutkan gitu ya, 70% dari orang-orang yang terdiagnosa kanker payudara itu diketahui sudah dalam stadium lanjut. Nah, kalau dari pengalaman Mbak Vita sendiri saat Mbak Vita didiagnosa kanker payudara, apakah itu juga sudah di dalam tahap lanjutan ataukah masih di early stage, di tahap awal?
Di tahap awal sih, di stadium 2. Itu tapi udah mau ketiga, tapi karena kita cepat langsung medis, langsung ke dokter dan segala macam, jadi langsung cepat penindakan itu. Biopsi, terus langsung kemo. Terus pas kemo itu dia mengecil, jadi dari 3, berapa diameter itu dia mengecil, sehingga langsung diambil langsung dioperasi, jadi langsung cepat gerak.
Dan setelah itu tidak ada perkembangan lagi Mbak atau bagaimana?
Bersih, clear, udah PET scan, udah semuanya kita kontrol, dan karena sebenarnya sebelum pandemi itu sebulan sekali kita kontrol terus, tapi karena pandemi ini ya agak mundur sih. Tetap kita harus sadari juga, terus udah gitu kita juga harus tetap kontrol, jangan lepas kontrol dokter, dan nutrisi makanan juga penting sih, kita harus jaga juga.
Mbak Vita boleh tahu Mbak Vita terdeteksi kanker payudara itu di tahun berapa Mbak Vita?
2015.
Oke, 2015, dan sejak saat itu selalu periksa secara reguler gitu ya Mbak sampai sekarang.
Ya.
Dari cerita Mbak Vita, aku juga pengen tahu juga nih cerita dari Carmen. Carmen, Linda and Vita just mentioned that 70% of the people who are diagnosed with breast cancer here in Indonesia, they're already in the advanced stage. But when I asked Vita, she found out that she was still in the early stage. What about you?
I too was in the early stage. So doing the self-exams is how I noticed a change. I had been doing self-exams since I was a teenager. And here in the United States, we recommend that you get your mammogram starting at age 40. Well, I was just past that benchmark, and I had just had my annual mammogram. It was just 2 months ago, and it was normal. But I noticed a change and immediately went in to see my doctor. She then referred me to a specialist because she felt an equal concern. After a needle biopsy and surgeries, a surgery, it was determined I had breast cancer, but it was an early stage, but it was an aggressive stage.
Okay. During that time when you found out, before the examination, what motivated you to do the self-examination? Was it, did you feel hurt on your breast, or what was the trigger?
I've always been interested in women and wellness. That's always been important. And there is no history of breast cancer in my family. My family is enormous. There are 64 of us. No one in my family, to my knowledge, had breast cancer. But it was important to me to be able to understand my body, and when it was working well, and if I just had that little intuition that it wasn't, to take action. It's just something that I had been doing since I was young. I took a class in college in women's studies that taught me how to take care of my body, how to have a wellness exam, and the importance of it. So although I worked out, I ate well, I kept my weight down, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, there's no history of women's wellness, just like Andrea has said from the Brim Foundation, Ibu Linda has said, the risk factor as a woman, you have to know your personal risk factors. So for me, I'm a woman, I needed to get checked. So I took that very seriously.
So I think awareness from people surrounding you, and I think from yourself as well, matters, right? In detecting breast cancer in the early stage. Now, I want to go back to Andrea. When we're talking about detecting breast cancer at the earliest stage as possible, what would you recommend people do during this time, when they have no breast cancer history? What would you recommend? Would you recommend them to do self-examination regularly, or what to start, or how?
I'm so glad you asked that, for a lot of reasons. Here in America, there's a lot of confusion around guidelines for screening. I actually don't know, I apologize, I don't know what the recommendations are in Indonesia, but I can tell you that here in the United States, the Brem Foundation, along with the American College of Radiology and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, feels extremely strongly that screening has to start for people at average risk at age 40 every year. Now, there are a lot of societies and organizations that are saying different things. Some say 45 every other year until a certain age. Some say start at 50. But what the fine print on those other recommendations is that we will lose at least 19% of more women to this disease if you follow later guidelines. So what I would say to people here with us tonight is the following. First of all, the number one thing you have to do, no matter what your age is find out what your risk factors are. Understand your family histories, understand, if you are old enough to be getting a mammogram, ask what your breast density is, and if you have a strong family history, think about genetic testing. Now, there's no harm ever to doing breast self-exam. And in fact, I would strongly encourage it starting at even super young ages, 18, 19, 20 years old, because then you'll get a sense of what is normal for your breasts. Everybody's breasts are different. And you'll know that, okay, that lump is there every month, or, oh no, that lump was not there before. I need to figure out what's going on. There are some women who are at higher risk that need to start screening earlier than 40. So some need to start. So the recommendation is that you start 10 years before the youngest member of your family was diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, I'm disturbed by the fact that so many women in Indonesia are being diagnosed at later stages. And I am motivated to work with you and anybody on this call to try to change that, because we know that we have the technology and we know that we need to educate people about what to do to find it earlier. We are seeing that younger and younger women are being diagnosed. And so this is an issue for everyone. And we need to be vigilant, and we need to understand what those risk factors and screening options are. And just really quickly, the top risk factors, in addition to being a woman, are family history, genetics, and breast density. So you should find out what those are for you. Obviously, lifestyle can help, but I want to say a word about lifestyle. There are always women who come, to their doctor or to us and say, but I run every day and I eat perfectly and I'm vegan and I have no body fat and I still got breast cancer. And I want to say that it is important to have a healthy lifestyle. However, don't blame yourself. You can have a perfectly healthy lifestyle and still get breast cancer. There are other reasons. There's genetic reasons. There are environmental factors. There are things we don't even understand medically. So yes, stay healthy, but no, don't go crazy and don't blame yourself if you do end up getting breast cancer.
Okay, you mentioned about getting a mammogram, but before we go to the doctor, is there any specific things that we can do at home, maybe that you would encourage people do, Andrea?
Yes, a couple things. First is self-exam. The Brem Foundation actually has a great video out about self-exam, and we have a great video out about personalized screening. I'm happy to send them to you, and then you can post them on whatever the people with us tonight are watching. The second thing is self-exam is really important. The second thing is just to start learning. Learn about your risk factors and family histories. Talk to your parents. Talk to people who might feel like this is a stigma. Different cultures have different norms around talking about breasts, around talking about breast cancer or cancer generally. And I know we've come across a lot of cultures where you don't talk about that. right? It's not something that we're open about. It's embarrassing. It's a stigma. We need to get beyond that. And we need our young people to start to change the culture around it because it can really save lives. Now, I want to say another thing about going to the doctor. Going to the doctor is not a scary thing. By far, most women who get a mammogram are totally fine. The ones who are told that they have an abnormality and need to come back for a diagnostic test, even among those, 80% don't have breast cancer. So you shouldn't be scared. The scary thing is when you put it off and you go and it's too late and then you're in trouble. So I would say, use knowledge to reduce fear, not to increase fear.
Thank you for the encouragement. Ibu Linda, barusan Andrea sempat bilang gitu ya, Bu Linda, memang kebanyakan dari kita itu periksa ketika udah merasakan sakit ataupun sudah merasakan gejala-gejalanya gitu, Ibu Linda. Nah, kalau untuk dari sosialisasi sendiri gitu ya, atau edukasi sendiri di Indonesia, itu seperti apa, Bu Linda, tentang sadari? Di level apa masyarakat Indonesia ini menurut Ibu Linda dan juga YKPI sadar akan pentingnya pemeriksaan dini?
Ya, saya sangat sepakat, ternyata sama ya gaya di Amerika dengan Indonesia ya. Tetapi mereka mamografinya sudah dilakukan sebagai satu hal yang rutin. Kalau di Indonesia itu belum terjadi ya, di atas 40 tahun harus mamok karena memang peralatannya tidak ada, tenaga medis juga kurang ya. Jadi memang sadari self-exam itu adalah yang paling bagus. Dan tadi ditanyakan seberapa jauh sih ya pemahamannya. Jadi memang kami pergi sampai ke pelosok-pelosok, Mbak. Di Indonesia ini kami datang dengan biaya sendiri, dengan semua sendiri, bawa dokter bedah onkolog. Itu mereka nggak ngerti tentang sadari. Jadi sangat menyedihkan, sangat memprihatinkan. Makanya kasus-kasus 70% di stadium lanjut itu terjadi. Dan juga budaya emang nggak berani ngomong soal adanya breast cancer, bicara tentang kanker payudara kayak gitu. Jadi saya nggak nyangka di Amerika juga ada karakter seperti itu. Yang saya juga perlu sampaikan, ada yang sudah tahu, tetapi bilang itu penyakit orang tua, bukan penyakit kita, anak muda, nanti aja gitu, kalau udah tua baru sadari. Tetapi ada juga yang sudah tahu, tidak melakukan, yang orang tua juga tidak disiplin untuk melakukan sadari. Padahal kalau di dalam stadium awal, itu sama seperti Andrea bilang, itu nggak ada masalah gitu, dan semua yang benjolannya itu belum tentu cancer. Ya, benjolan-benjolannya itu bukan itu belum tentu cancer, hanya berapa persen. Kecil sekali yang itu positif cancer. Dan kalau di awal itu bisa disembuhkan. Jadi memang pemahamannya belum ada. Kalau udah paham belum tentu mau lakukan. Dan kalau sudah tahu ada, nggak ke dokter karena ketakutan, malu, dan budaya itu. Jadi memang terjadi, saya rasa di Indonesia pasti lebih berat soal itu. Ya. Karena memang kita kan latar belakangnya berbeda ya. Edukasinya juga, tingkat pendidikannya kan berbeda-beda. Jadi saya kira itu juga terjadi, bukan hanya di golongan yang pendidikannya kurang, tetapi yang pendidikannya bagus pun suka melarikan diri juga dari kenyataan itu untuk breast cancer.
Bu Linda, tadi Bu Linda sempat beberapa menit lalu gitu, waktu kita diskusi di awal, Bu Linda sempat sebut kalau ini sebetulnya perlu edukasi juga di sekolah. Nah, di tahap apa sih Bu kalau di Indonesia itu perlu edukasi juga tentang ini di sekolah?
Iya, saya setuju banget. Tadi kalau Andrea bilang di Amerika mereka kayaknya di middle ya, di kelas SMP kayaknya dapat gitu ya, pelajaran kesehatan reproduksi. Kalau di sini sepertinya belum. Ya. Dan kami selalu berjuang untuk dimasukkan dalam pelajaran kesehatan reproduksi. Jadi dengan sendirinya anak-anak tidak mencari dari Google dan sebagainya, tetapi mereka sudah tahu bahwa harus lakukan sadari. Ini sangat perlu dan mungkin kita terus berjuang supaya ini masuk ke dalam kurikulum sekolah sesuai dengan usianya. Jadi bahasa anak SMP, bahasa anak SMA itu kan beda. Tetapi begitu mereka haid, harusnya mereka sudah tahu itu dari sekolah. Itu yang kita juga ikut berjuang untuk itu.
Ya, Bu Linda, kalau di Indonesia sendiri begitu ya, selain screening dengan mamogram, apakah ada pilihan lain ataupun jalur lain ketika kita ke dokter, terus kita mau tahu nih kita ada resiko kanker payudara atau enggak? Ada apa aja yang jalan yang bisa ditempuh ya Bu?
Ya, jadi kalau dengan mamografi itu memang dianjurkan di atas 40 tahun ya. Karena memang kekenyalan kepadatan payudaranya kan sudah lebih longgar, tidak terlalu padat. dan juga itu kan pakai sinar ya, ultra, jadi harus di atas 40 tahun. Dan kalau yang mempunyai risiko, faktor risiko, itu tentu mereka boleh di bawah 40 tahun, tetapi yang pertama paling gampang itu sadari, kemudian USG, melalui ultrasonografi di berbagai daerah, di rumah sakit mana aja kan itu ada di Indonesia. Jadi lakukan dengan USG di bawah usia 40 tahun, apabila ada benjolan. Tapi kalau punya faktor risiko, mereka harus rutin melakukan pemeriksaan itu. Ya.
Baik, Bu Linda, thank you. Sekarang saya mau balik lagi nih ke Mbak Vita. Mbak Vita, waktu pertama didiagnosa itu, apa yang akhirnya memutuskan Mbak Vita untuk, oke, ini waktunya saya mesti ke dokter nih, saya mesti periksa? Halo? Mbak Vita, apakah bisa dengar?
Jadi itu dorongan dari keluarga juga, keluarga yang mensupport. Jadi awalnya waktu USG juga sebenarnya saya juga nggak sakit kok, nggak apa-apa kok gitu. Tapi tiba-tiba itu suami juga yang langsung tiba-tiba masukin aja ke rumah sakit, udah USG aja gitu. Baru dari situlah ketahuan bahwa ada benjolan itu.
Jadi justru encourage dari keluarganya itu ya Mbak Vita yang akhirnya mendorong Mbak Vita untuk periksa. Bahkan tadi Mbak Vita bilang ini menarik, belum ada benjolan, belum ada rasa sakit.
Iya.
Mungkin kalau misalnya bisa flashback gitu ya Mbak Vita, kalau misalnya pada saat itu nggak ada encouragement dari keluarga untuk menyuruh Mbak Vita ke dokter, mungkin nggak akan ketahuan gitu ya kalau sudah di stadium 2. Mau ketiga bahkan.
Kalau sudah ketiga sudah mulai agak berat kan, sudah mulai dari diameter 4 cm ke atas tuh udah mulai agak sulit gitu, bahkan bisa diambil semua, tapi kalau saya kan hanya diambil benjolannya saja. Jadi ya teman-teman ya harusnya dari sekarang udah harus sadari, terus udah jadi juga harus bisa, kita sebagai survivor juga harus bisa mengedukasi teman-teman di luar sana untuk bisa saling mendorongnya. Jadi maksudnya mereka takut, sama seperti kita dulu takut tuh masuk ke ini USG gimana hasilnya apa, dan itu kita dorong untuk ayo nggak apa-apa ya, kadang kita sampai nemenin juga gitu.
Jadi memang support dari orang-orang sekitar itu juga diperlukan. Jadi bukan cuma kita ya Mbak Vita sebagai perempuan, tetapi justru keluarga terdekat ataupun mungkin teman-teman terdekat itu perlu juga ya untuk membagikan itu dan menyadarkan itu sebagai encouragement untuk segera periksa ke dokter. Carmen, Vita just mentioned that the reason why she went to the doctor for the first time and was diagnosed with breast cancer was because her family encouraged her to do so. So she didn't have any, she didn't feel any hurt. There's no lump on her breast. It's just the encouragement coming from the family. And for you yourself, Carmen, like how important it is, the support and encouragement, from the family. So maybe if any husbands watching right now, or any other family members, who have moms and maybe like older members of the family, how would you suggest them to encourage people to go and have it checked?
That is an enormous question, and thank you for asking it. And I think Andrea has addressed it by saying, do get checked. It is so important. If you love your mother, if you love your wife, if you love your sister, if they are 40 or whatever the age is in Indonesia, have them get an annual exam. My husband was incredibly supportive, and he was there with me through the whole process. He's still with me now. And I always tell all of my cousins, I'm one of those people who, not only in my family, at every family reunion, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, I'm pulling my family members aside and I'm saying, did you get your mammogram? I'm talking to my brothers, my sister-in-laws, my nieces. I'm talking to everyone because now that I've been diagnosed, I want to make sure my nieces get at least a baseline according to the guidelines that the Brim Foundation has set forward. And then for men, men get breast cancer too. So they don't get a pass. Women, it's a risk factor, but men also could get breast cancer. So it's a conversation that we as a family have to have when we talk about our wellness. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, so much. I mean, thank you for the encouragement, because I think it's not only an issue for women everywhere in the world, but it's an issue for everyone. And I think like not a lot of people know about that. The fact that you just mentioned, Carmen, that, male can also get breast cancer. I mean, like everyone is at risk of getting breast cancer, no matter where they live, no matter how healthy they are. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, I think like more and more people need to know about this information. And before we continue, I would like to remind our audience, if you have any questions regarding breast cancer or anything else related to the topic that we're discussing right now, please post your question in the comment section below, I think, or on the side of your screen. We're going to have a question and answer session later on in the next few minutes. So please do not hesitate to post your question in the comment box. Now, I'm going to go back to Andrea. Andrea, talking about the treatments in the States. How is the situation? How easy is it to get treatments for breast cancer? Andrea, I think you're still muted.
Right.
Yes, great.
That's a challenging question because, as you might know, America has excellent medical care, but the ability to access that care varies widely. And the Brem Foundation is very committed to working with communities where it is harder for them to access care, where there are disparities in access to care. Some of it, unfortunately, the reality, not of America, of the world, is that some of it has to do with how much money you have, what can you afford, and how savvy you are in the system to be able to get that care. Now, there are a lot of supports and resources here in the United States. There are nonprofits, there are amazing patient navigators at medical institutions. It is all set up. However, I would say that it is critical for women to self-advocate, to know enough about their situation, and to not take no for an answer if they feel that they need more or different care. And not just to assume, look, I come from a family of doctors. I think doctors are heroes. We need them so much. But doctors are also people. And just because somebody has a doctor next to his or her name doesn't mean that she has all the answers. And if the patient feels uncomfortable or like what she's getting is insufficient, go to another opinion and another opinion and stand up for yourself. Look, women have a tendency to take care of everybody around them except themselves.
Yeah.
And so you can't take care of everybody if you're sick. So to make sure that you are able to do what women are inclined to do, you have to do this for yourself. So even if you're a selfless person and you don't like thinking, well, I come first, you can't do everything for everybody else if you don't when it comes to breast cancer.
So it's, can we call it a domino effect for this?
Sure, let's call it a domino effect. I like that.
Right. Andrea, is there any special hospitals, maybe I would say, in the States that really focuses on women with breast cancer?
So before I answer that question, I want to actually say one other thing about your former question, which is that breast cancer doesn't just affect women, right? So, 99% of breast cancers are in women. But when a woman gets sick, it impacts her husband, her children, her father, her workplace, right? So that domino effect is a really good term, actually, because as soon as she's sick and you pull her out and she can't do what she's normally doing every day, the impact is enormous on the people around her. In terms of special hospitals, we don't have designated breast cancer hospitals. We do have a certification of excellence in terms of breast screening. And there are, some hospitals that are world known for their breast cancer treatments and care and screening. But that's probably true everywhere, that there's a range of quality in terms of care. We do have some women's hospitals, although that's increasingly rare. Usually this type of care is integrated into a hospital system with all sorts of different care.
Okay, great.
But the people taking care of breast cancer are very sensitive to women's issues and needs in terms of fertility, sexuality, image, body image, femininity. That is very much considered when going through these issues.
Yeah, so that means like there's a lot of other effects as well, right? Incorporating in terms of like curing breast cancer. Now, talking about hospital, Ibu Linda, kalau misalnya kita bisa bilang gitu ya tentang fasilitas kesehatan. Kita tahu di Indonesia ada beberapa fasilitas kesehatan ataupun rumah sakit yang memang dikhususkan untuk merawat pasien kanker gitu ya, Bu. Tapi untuk perawatan breast cancer ataupun kanker payudara ini menurut Ibu Linda di Indonesia sudah cukupkah atau perlu dimaksimalkan lagi, bisa dimaksimalkan lagi dengan kita tahu kasus kanker payudara menjadi salah satu prioritas begitu ya dibandingkan kasus kanker lainnya. Ya,
terima kasih Mbak. Jadi memang kita akui bahwa memang belum ada ya rumah sakit khusus kanker payudara menangani kasus kanker. Tapi kalau rumah-rumah sakit kanker ada beberapa ya yang ada di Indonesia, tapi pada umumnya di kota-kota besar. Sehingga yang sakit dari daerah harus pergi ke kota ibu kota provinsi. Itu pun belum banyak. Ini satu masalah yang kita hadapi dan tentu kita selalu mendorong supaya diberikan karpet merah lah untuk persiapan kesehatan untuk pasien kanker payudara. Karena memang ini berkejaran dengan waktu ya. Penyakit kanker ini kan berkejaran dengan waktu, beda dengan penyakit tidak menular lainnya. Sehingga memang betul-betul harus ditangani secara baik, secara medis, dan juga ditemukan sejak awal. Kira-kira seperti itu, Mbak. Saya juga berapa kali ke daerah, jangankan rumah sakit yang bisa ada peralatan untuk menangani pasien kanker, kanker payudara apalagi. Alat mamografinya juga kadang-kadang rusak atau tidak ada, ya jadi kasihan juga itu masyarakat ya. Itu antara lain penyebabnya dari terjadinya stadium lanjut juga bisa karena keterlambatan itu.
Oke, baik Ibu.
Tapi kita yakin pelan-pelan akan menjadi lebih baik ya. Kita terus mendorong untuk upaya itu, saya yakin.
Baik, semoga kedepannya juga ini masih menjadi kemudian akan menjadi fokus pemerintah untuk menambah lagi fasilitas kesehatan untuk men-treat breast cancer ini ya Ibu Linda.
Kita sama-sama mendorong ya Mbak.
Iya, kedepannya as soon as possible ya Bu Linda
ya. Hopefully.
Siapa tahu jalan yang lebih lebar ya Bu Linda ya. Oke, kalau berbicara tentang treatment, we're talking about the treatment for breast cancer. I would like to pose this question to the breast cancer survivor themselves. Mbak Vita, kembali lagi saya mau tanya ke Mbak Vita. Waktu Mbak Vita cek gitu ya untuk pertama kali dan kemudian Mbak Vita mendapatkan diagnosa kanker payudara stadium 2 menuju ke 3. Apakah Mbak Vita melakukan pemeriksaan lagi dengan dokter lainnya? Stepnya seperti apa Mbak? Mungkin ini bisa menjadi informasi yang baik juga untuk teman-teman yang sedang nonton pada saat ini.
Jadi kalau saya waktu itu ada second opinion juga sih dari beberapa dokter. Jadi saya ambil 3. Waktu itu di Indonesia 2, satu di Malaysia. Jadi akhirnya saya berobatnya di Malaysia.
Jadi harus ada second opinion ya Mbak. Maksudnya untuk Mbak Vita sendiri, Mbak Vita tuh juga maksudnya periksa ke dokter 2 ataupun 3 dokter gitu ya untuk mungkin meyakinkan tentang diagnosanya ini ya Mbak Vita, baru setelah itu ke treatmentnya sendiri. Okay, now talking about treatment again, I want to ask, I want to dig information from another breast cancer survivor, Carmen, with your amazing experience getting through 16 years surviving breast cancer. Do you think second opinion from doctors matter?
Second opinions, third opinions, and as many opinions as you need to feel comfortable with going forward with the treatment. Because I actually got 3 different opinions from 3 different groups. And it was so wonderful to find out from the Brim Foundation how, breast cancer is 95, almost 97% curable. But that's not a message that's getting out to people. So it's important to find organizations and doctors who share that and understand that and advocate for that. And then Learn yourself how to advocate for yourself, how to speak to doctors, how to exchange with them so that when they give you information that you don't understand, you can ask questions. And if at any time you feel uncomfortable, find another doctor. That's what I did. I changed in the middle of my treatment until I could find someone who I felt comfortable with. That's important.
So first of all, like when you first are diagnosed with breast cancer, you have to make sure that you're confident with the diagnosis itself. Is that
correct? Correct, because as Andrea has pointed out, it affects your whole family. It's not just me. It's my husband, it's my children, it's my grandchildren, it's my extended family, it's my workplace. You have to have all the support that you need, but you as the woman have to be sure of what you want to do. My husband's parents died early. Like they didn't live past their 50s. They died of cancers. So my husband had this fear that, okay, I don't want this to happen to my wife. But I did not allow my husband's voice to be louder than my own. I separated that out. It is my responsibility to take care of myself and then to learn as much as I can and then to educate my husband. There's no need to be fearful. I have the most common and the most treatable form of cancer. It was so easy for me to get him on board where I'm going to survive this. We're going to get through this. Don't worry about it. But it was because I continued to seek out and get information.
Okay. So really, again and again, support and encouragement from the family matters. Once you get diagnosed with breast cancer, that's the main support system, and that's the encouragement where you should get, motivation from to get through those hard times. Now, talking about support and encouragement from family, there's already one question here from the audience posted on Instagram. I think I would like to go back to Mbak Vita. Mbak Vita, ada pertanyaan ini dari Instagram. Mungkin Mbak Vita boleh sharing pengalamannya saat melalui tahun-tahun itu setelah didiagnosa. Bagaimana cara yang tepat dan baik untuk memberikan ataupun menunjukkan support bagi orang terdekat yang didiagnosa kanker payudara. Karena mungkin bagi beberapa orang, khususnya perempuan, hal ini sangat sensitif sekali.
Kalau menurut saya sih pengalaman yang saya sudah jalanin ya waktu itu kan memang pada saat saya terdiagnosa itu banyak teman-teman yang maksudnya baik hati untuk ayo dong semangat, support, bantu ini segala, tapi kadang-kadang yang membuat kita tuh jadi maunya teman-teman sih mau bantu, mau kasih semangat, tapi bagi kita tuh jadi kayak orang ngomong sabar, tapi kan kita yang jalanin gitu loh, maksudnya enak ngomong sabar, sedangkan saya cuma ngomong doang gitu. Jadi bagaimana caranya itu memang kita ada kalau di YKP itu ada satu pelatihan ya, di mana pelatihan itu bisa pendampingan untuk pasien. Nah itu ada kelasnya juga. Nah itu kan diajarkan bagaimana kita tidak boleh bilang sabar ya. Jadi kita juga harus harus mengerti perasaan kondisi saat itu orang mungkin lagi down, lagi putus asa gitu. Jadi bagaimana kita memang harus mendengarkan dia banyak mungkin dia mau keluh kesah atau seperti apa, kita lebih menguatkan di sisi itu sih gitu. Jadi lebih mendengarkan dulu gitu, biar mereka sharing. Nah di situ kita mulai membuat satu kegiatan yang happy buat dia gitu. Jadi sehingga yang si penderita ini makin semangat hidup, semakin termotivasi untuk ternyata ini bukan maksudnya ini bukan sesuatu hal yang menakutkan, tetapi ini banyak kok teman-teman yang selamat juga, banyak loh teman-teman yang survive juga seperti itu.
Ya, berarti kalau misalnya bisa saya tarik garis besarnya dari testimoni Mbak Vita barusan, begitu ya Mbak Vita, mungkin lebih baik mendengarkan dan berempati begitu ya Mbak, daripada memberikan saran ataupun memberikan motivasi pada saat tahap awal begitu ya Mbak.
Betul banget.
Ya, baik. Ini ada pertanyaan lain. There's another question. This is for Andrea. Hi, Andrea. I'm Cynthia, a breast cancer survivor. Glad to hear you sharing. I learned a lot. Now, I would like to see your comment about what my doctor said, that the main trigger of cancer is stress. Do you agree, Andrea?
Hi, Cynthia. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And thank you for your question. I hope you're doing really well. Honestly, I don't think that's a fair statement. I do think that we know that stress has physiological impacts on the body. We know that it has deleterious effects on health, but we also know that there are many, many people that are under extreme stress who don't develop cancer. And we know that there are many people who don't feel that they're under extreme stress and do. So I think to point to that is a bit of a, I don't know how to say this the right way, but a bit of a cop-out, because it's presumptuous to say that you know why a cancer occurs, especially in somebody that doesn't have a genetic mutation. I mean, it's easier when somebody has a genetic mutation to say, okay, we know that your body has a sort of coding problem that's going to lead to a higher risk of this disease. But if you don't have a genetic mutation to blame stress, I don't think that there's any medical backing for that. It sometimes makes people feel better to point to something as a cause so that you can fix it. Human beings want to fix a problem. And so you can say, well, I can reduce stress, or I can eat better, or I can sleep more, or whatever it is. But really with breast cancer, it doesn't work that way. And it's too simple. I hate to say it. So Cynthia, I really do hope you're doing so well. And I hope you are able to reduce stress in your life for a number of reasons. But I don't think that's what necessary. Well, I would say we can't say whether that's what caused your breast cancer or not. And frankly, if my doctor told me that, I would be concerned, because they're trying to give me answers for something that might not have answers.
And when we touch on the issue of healthy lifestyle, Andrea, and I think there are two questions here about a healthy lifestyle. I would like to pose the question to Carmen. Carmen, these questions are asking, what's the best lifestyle change that you can do, or maybe after you are diagnosed with breast cancer, did you change your lifestyle? I mean, probably by becoming healthier or eating healthy food, just to prevent yourself from getting or being at a higher risk of breast cancer.
That's a good question. And I'd like to say that, back to what Andrea just said, just being a woman, I was already had a healthy lifestyle. I already ate well. I did all those things. Check, check, check. Mm-hmm. So none of that mattered. So I had to learn my risk factors. And after I was treated, the thing that I did was that to really change my lifestyle was to actively advocate to other women. That's what I changed. I start talking to every woman I knew. If I was buying groceries and there was a woman in front of me, I would find a reason to get in a conversation to talk about, have you had a mammogram? If I were at a library or at work, sitting with a coworker who I knew was a certain age, I would just bring it up and say, have you had your mammogram? Or if I noticed someone's physical appearance changing, like the loss of hair, and maybe they were going through treatment, I would pull them aside and express a concern. So what did I do differently to change my lifestyle? I start advocating. I start wanting to know more. I start wanting to try to help other people, because to the Brim Foundation's credit, getting that information out and speaking to people about it is enormous. And I want to say, when it comes to stress, I was living my best life. I was happier than I had ever been when I was diagnosed. So I don't know if that weighs in or not, but I do know when you are found out early, when you get your mammogram and you can get treated, you can get over it. And here I am 16 years, almost 17 years later. So
it's not only taking care of your own body, like building awareness upon yourself, but also really like going out there and then like advocating people and then telling people to get checked as soon as possible, to get informed, and all of those information that maybe they might need to know, but they have not yet aware of it. Right.
May I say one more thing, just real quickly, The one thing I always remind people is something my mother told me. I am the expert on my body. Doctors are phenomenal, and I'm thankful that we have them. But we have to learn to listen to our own bodies and not be afraid to take action. So that's what I wanted to put out there.
Right. Thank you, Carmen. That's a great insight, and I think like a lot of people need to know about this. And then really, I think the task of like breast cancer survivors are not only taking care of their body, like just you mentioned, but also really advocating people, going out there and then building more and more awareness so that more and more people know about this issue. Now, talking about taking care of our body, let's just go back to Andrea. Andrea, there's this one question from YouTube asking about how male can check, can have their self check about the risk of getting breast cancer. Is there any specific ways for them to check their own body the risk of getting breast cancer, or is it the same methods with self-examination with women?
So thank you for that question. It is very important to understand that, like I said, this is not only a woman's disease. 1% of breast cancers are found in men, so it is rare. However, and there are no real screening guidelines. They don't need to do self-exams. They don't need to go in for mammograms. However, if a man has a very strong family history, then it is important that they start to check and be vigilant and sometimes even go in for mammograms. So the first step for a man would be to find out whether there is a strong family history in his family. This is an interesting discussion because oftentimes people think that breast cancer genes can only be passed from the mother to a child. It's not so. Men and women have equal chances of passing mutations on genes that increase your likelihood for breast cancer. So for families that have a lot more boys than girls, for example, you have to dig deeper because they don't necessarily get breast cancer as much as women would if they had the same mutation. So you have to ask and check and ask about cousins and second cousins and see, did anybody get breast cancer really young? Did anybody have, is there a strong history? Do you see that on one side of the family? Lots of people get either breast cancer or other types of cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer. Those are all indications that you might have a genetic mutation that makes your risk higher. And if you do, then your doctor does need to set up a screening regimen. If you don't, then just be vigilant. There's nothing specific for men that they need to do because it is so rare.
Okay. And I guess, knowing that men have the same risk of getting breast cancer, I think it's important for them to know as well about this information and have themselves check if they think that they're at a higher risk of getting breast cancer. Thank you, Andrea, for the answer. Now, there's one question here about volunteering. Very interesting question. This was posted on Instagram. I would like to post this question to Ibu Linda. Ibu Linda, ada yang tanya, ada seseorang yang post question di Instagram. Orang ini tertarik untuk menjadi volunteer dengan YKPI dan juga BREM Foundation. Katanya Bu Linda.
Oh iya, terima kasih. Saya merasa senang karena ada yang mau menjadi volunteers. Kita memang punya pilar. YKPI mempunyai pilar, ada pilar pendukung, yaitu para volunteers, ada pilar komunitas yang memang pasien kanker payudara, dan ada pilar yang pendamping pasien kanker payudara di Rumah Sakit Kanker Darmais. Nah, jadi kepada yang tadi teman yang bertanya, silakan bergabung di pilar pendukung YKPI dan bisa menghubungi hotline service kami. Yaitu kami punya telepon, mungkin ini dari Indonesia pasti yang bertanya ya. Nomor teleponnya 0821 2364 2164 0821 2364 2164. Ada Mbak Nita di sana. Bu Nita, beliau adalah seorang survivor breast cancer, akan membantu untuk mendaftarkan dan bisa bergabung dengan kami. Kami senang sekali karena di situ kita bagi hobinya apa. Ada yang suka musik, olahraga, atau sukanya charity, atau maunya jurnalis, silakan bergabung. Jadi sewaktu-waktu kita bisa bersama-sama melakukan kegiatan sesuai dengan kesenangan daripada si relawan tersebut. Makasih.
Terima kasih, Bu Linda. Andrea, is there any way, the question was that was posed to Ibu Linda was about volunteering. Is there any way that people in other parts of the world that they can volunteer for BRAM Foundation?
Oh, yes, we would love volunteers. Yeah. So we are a very small organization. We have 4 staff people. And we're always looking for help in a number of ways. One is if you have any particular skills that you're willing to help us with, whether that's accounting or database or, any kind of tech skills. We have no tech background, marketing, anything like that would be extremely helpful on the administrative side. In terms of volunteerism, we could definitely talk to people about a number of things. First of all, you could do broad drives in your communities. And I'm happy to connect individually with anybody interested in that. Second of all, I would love to speak with volunteers, especially outside of the United States, about how to start maybe doing educational events in other countries. We have a already packaged slide deck and talking points and things that I could help with. So if that's something that you think you'd be interested in, it could be a huge service in your country. I'm also open to new ideas. So if anybody wants to just reach out, my email is andrea@bremfoundation.org. Either if you have a personal question or you want to support the organization, I would be so, so excited to speak with you. Finally, one other point on that is we take people, we help people and include in volunteers people of all ages, but we are trying to cultivate an even younger group to be ambassadors for this cause. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Andrea. And I'm pretty sure there's still a lot of questions posted for us, but I'm very sorry that I think we're running out of time. But one last question from me to close this session. Same question for Andrea and also Ibu Linda. I would like to pose it to Andrea first. I think I'm pretty sure that going out and then spreading the information about breast cancer, I think is has a lot of challenges, Andrea. But what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? And then what is your hope for BRAM Foundation later on in the future?
I would say 2 main things. 3 things keep me going. One is the fact that I know we can get to a place in the world where this disease causes far less suffering and far less death than it does now. We have technologies that really reduce these rates. We want to see more of the survivors on this call all over the place. The second, personally, is that I have 4 daughters. They are 12, 9, 6, and 2. And so I want them to live in a world where they don't worry about it the way the people on this call do. It's a funny joke because in our family we have so many women and we have these breast cancer genes, but I am really hopeful that maybe one day they can go and get a vaccine, or maybe there are other technologies that make it really simple to deal with that. And then finally, I would say, they're the quiet force behind all of this, but our staff is so passionate and so good at what they do that it makes me realize that the best people are attracted to this, and that therefore we can continue to innovate and we can continue to change what we're doing through all sorts of partnerships with individuals, with corporations, and we're on a path headed to great things. So that gets me up every day.
Alright, Ibu Linda, pertanyaan yang sama untuk Ibu Linda. Di balik tantangan dalam mengkampanyekan misi-misi KPI begitu, Ibu Linda, apa sih harapan ke depannya?
Ya, saya tentu berharap bahwa kita bisa menekan kejadian kanker payudara stadium lanjut. Tapi nggak mungkin di KPI sendirian. kita bisa banyak teman-teman mitra kami di Indonesia yang juga bekerja untuk kanker payudara, kita bergandengan tangan bersama-sama. Kalau kita mau jalan cepat, kita bisa jalan sendiri. Tapi kalau kita mau jalan sukses sampai ke tujuan, kita harus bergandengan tangan. Bergandengan tangan dengan LSM, dengan pemerintah, dengan pihak swasta, dengan Aid Amerika. Saya kira ini satu jalan yang sangat baik untuk harus berpikir positif, insya Allah kita bisa menyampai itu. Dan juga saya berharap kampanye tentang sadari ini betul-betul bisa sampai ke pelosok-pelosok untuk anak-anak muda remaja kita, sehingga kita akan dapat keinginan kita untuk tidak lagi ada pasien breast cancer dalam stadium lanjut ya. Nah itu yang ketiga, tentu saya juga berharap mungkin suatu hari kita bisa bekerja sama dengan Brand Foundation. Kita bisa saling bertukar bertukar informasi, karena tadi Andrea juga menyebut bahwa kalau kita ada perlu sesuatu kita bisa bersama-sama lakukan. Memang ini eranya udah penuh keterbukaan, jadi kerjasama antara berbagai pihak di dalam dan di luar negeri bisa kita tingkatkan. Saya kira itu yang kami harapkan bisa kita lakukan ke depan. Kami tidak pernah menyerah walaupun di dalam keadaan pandemi COVID-19, tetapi kami terus bergerak. Kami terus berupaya bagaimana caranya supaya kampanye kita ini betul-betul bisa berhasil, apalagi ini adalah bulan peduli kanker payudara internasional. Itulah harapan kami dan mudah-mudahan kita selalu sehat semua.
Amin, terima kasih Bu Linda. Kan singkat sekarang dari breast cancer survivor, Mbak Vita, pesan apa atau motivasi apa yang mau disampaikan untuk teman-teman pecintas kanker payudara?
Tetap harus semangat, tetap tidak usah putus asa, karena di sini kita banyak survivor warriors yang juga mau support kalian gitu. Kita ke KPI, nanti ada hotline yang tadi seperti itu, nanti kita bisa sama-sama saling bergandengan tangan, bisa sama-sama saling menguatkan, bersama dengan Kak Andrea juga, Kak Kamel juga, semua di dalam dan di luar negeri kita sama-sama bergandengan tangan.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Vita. Carmen, what would you, a quick message, I think a motivating one for the breast cancer survivor?
Continue to advocate for yourself. Continue to share your story. Other women need to hear from you, and do what you can, what you're comfortable with. Sharing with others how important it is to survive and to get checked and to continue to get checked long after you're diagnosed, and to advocate for wellness for all women.
All right. Thank you so much. Ladies, I would love to extend this conversation, but we're running out of time. So I think we hope that there would be another discussion on this, so we can, make people, more and more people aware about this issue. To Andrea, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I think we all wish you a successful journey for Brand Foundation, and keep building awareness for everyone, keep inspiring and motivating those who are surviving of breast cancer. Ibu Linda Agung Gumelar, terima kasih banyak atas waktunya pada malam hari ini. Terima kasih sudah
bersama. Terima kasih.
Dan visinya juga tentang YKPI. Semoga khususnya teman-teman di Indonesia bisa lebih aware dan juga bisa seek support gitu ya Bu, support ataupun bantuan dari YKPI sendiri, supaya mereka juga sadar kalau mereka tidak sendiri melewati tahun-tahun yang berat ini sebagai penyintas kanker payudara. Terima kasih banyak Ibu Linda. And for Carmen and Mbak Vita, I hope that you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and keep spreading the words about all information about breast cancer and your experience. I'm pretty sure it will motivate people wherever they are, wherever you live. And I think, it can be such a blessing for people when you tell the information about breast cancer. Thank you so much, ladies. We hope that we can, meet you physically here in Jakarta or later in the States. Thank you so much. Andrea, thank you so much. Carmen, Ibu Linda.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you,
Carmen. Bye.
Have a good day. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Thank you.
And to our audience, kepada penonton pada malam hari ini, terima kasih banyak atas waktunya sudah bergabung bersama Live at America di bulan Breast Cancer, di acara Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Care and Cure. Semoga kedepannya kita bisa diskusi lebih lanjut juga tentang topik-topik seputar ini. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya. Kalau saya sangat yakin kalau at America juga masih banyak program-program lainnya. Untuk informasi selengkapnya bisa dicek di Instagram @America. Terima kasih sudah bergabung. Stay safe, stay healthy. Hopefully we can meet each other very soon. And I'm gonna toss it back to Maya in the studio. Maya.
All right, thank you so much, Mbak Anti and the rest of the speakers. That was a very heartwarming session. We hope to see you again next time. Now, please don't go anywhere because earlier in this event, I asked you guys, is it true or false that 30% of breast cancer cases develop in men? And the right answer is false. The percentage of all breast cancer cases in men is less than 1%, making it very rare. But unfortunately, nobody got the answers right this time, so better luck next time. Now, you an awesome idea for a place like this. Easy. You can go to our website at www.atamerica.or.id, click create an event, and collaborate with us. All proposals coming to us will be reviewed and your event might be featured here soon. And while you're on our website, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletters for weekly event updates sent straight to your I think that wraps up this episode. It has been really fun, but unfortunately we have to say goodbye for now. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, @ATAmerica for event updates, fun content, and so much more. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again at our next at America event. Goodbye, everybody.